networking events that I'm aware of in the area, in our local area as well as in Boston. And I tell them to just keep your head up high when you walk in the room and acknowledge people as you walk in. Smile, be pleasant. Don't stiffen up like a corpse. Walk very graciously. Go up to the bar, and then immediately, half of the women say, well, I don't drink, and I don't want to give the impression that I drink. So drinking is not the issue. It's you're walking up to the bar to show that you are being sociable. Most of these networking events will give you a coupon for the first free drink, right? So you go up and you get a Diet Coke with a piece of lime or lemon in it, or you get just a sparkling water with a piece of lemon in it. Nobody knows it's not alcoholic. And some people just don't drink. There are some people that can't drink for whatever reason. So that's not an issue. So you go to the bar, you get your drink, whatever it is, and there are people there at the bar. What's the next step? So my recommendation is that you turn to the closest person to you, you offer your hand, you introduce yourself, you say what you specialize in or what you do, or if you're not working, what your specialty is. And then the next question is, what do you do? So you want to get the focus off yourself and learn more about people, because every person at that particular event has potential to be able to help you in some way connect with an employer that you're interested in. In fact, if you do strike up a conversation, you may get introduced to others. Somebody might say, I know somebody who's in the recruiting business, or I know somebody else who just got laid off from whatever company, or I know, a person who needs a person like you that might be of help. So the first thing you do after you make your introduction is you ask the person about him or herself. And if the conversation kind of winds down a little bit, you say something like, well, I was wondering what you do because I wanted to know if there was a way that maybe you and I could help each other, either with whatever they're seeking or with whatever
so
you are
what you're
seeking.
saying is you're not selling at all. You're not really selling. You're really coming into this with, here's who I am, here's what I do, I'd like you to know about it, and maybe I can help you too.
Exactly. The other thing that I emphasize with people is, even if you've been let go from work, you go to Staples and for $10 you can get 100 business cards. And they don't have to be anything fancy. You can put a graphic or your picture, which I think is important. You can put your picture on it, but just your name, your contact information, and what you specialize in. So let's say you were an HR compliance professional for 30 years and you lost your job. You put your name and you put specializing in HR compliance and your contact information. And maybe if you've created a website or you have a LinkedIn page, you put that down. And then the back, you have very little writing on, and also you don't want to print in glossy. I made that mistake myself, because if you have a glossy business card, you really can't write on it with a pen. And if you write on it with a Sharpie, it just slips right off. It smudges right off. So those are little tips I like to give people for effective networking. So the other thing is, you don't want to stand in one place.
But I want to go back to what you said, particularly about LinkedIn, because I think that a lot of people don't see the value of LinkedIn, and I've heard more business people tell me how they've made terrific contacts through LinkedIn.
Exactly. So a LinkedIn profile is very important. Even if you're shy and you don't want people to know that you lost your job, you still go on there, give your job history, give your educational background. You can just put down your specialty. You don't have to say, lost my job at so-and-so. You say specializing in contract management, specializing in program management, specializing in pharmaceutical sales. But make it very complete. And LinkedIn is really good about this. They have a little scorecard, so they score you on how complete your your profile is, and then you just start making connections. One of the things that I learned through LinkedIn was the first thing you need to do is take likely people that are going to help you. And the guide this is a really good hint for everybody, the guideline for who you connect with or who's in your contact list are the first 250 people that would go to your funeral. So those are your initial contacts, yes. So because the reason is those people know you and they care about you. They care whether or not you're going to get hired. They want you to have the best for you. They want the best for you. So they have some kind of investment in you. They know you. You've had dinner together. You've had drinks together. Your kids played on the same soccer team. Would you just write to them
and see if you can have a phone conversation? Is that how you'd handle that?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Would you write to them? Let's say you go through that list and you find the first 20 people, right? Would you then write to them and have a phone conversation? Some of them may not be in your area of the country. So how would you...
Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't really matter. These are contacts that you already have that you know from either work or social events, and they are not going to care if you put them on your LinkedIn list.
Right.
So you can LinkedIn allows you to load these automatically from your contact list on your computer. Yeah, so you can load them right up there. And then you would send each one a LinkedIn request. And you could email them in advance. There's no harm to that. But if they're on LinkedIn, they're going to expect to get requests to connect. So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's perfectly acceptable.
All right, so let's talk about
I thought that was
we have 3 minutes
that was a good
left.
guide,
so
though. Okay.
It is, and they're very good. What do you do if you lose a job? Steps to recover your pride and your anger and recoup your income. And as I said, we have about 3 minutes. So
right. So if you lose your job, the first thing is, how did you lose the job? So did you get laid off? If you were laid off, make sure that you've maximized your benefits. Don't turn down anything that you're entitled to because you earned it. If you spent 30 years in a company, you've earned the unemployment benefits that go with that. You've earned whatever severance package, whatever that entails, whether it's insurance company coverage, whether it's tuition reimbursement, whether it's free headshots, whether it's outplacement services. Don't walk away from that. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. If you quit your job or if you get fired, God forbid, usually people aren't getting fired these days unless it's like a waiter job or something. If you're going to get fired, usually they're nice enough to give you some kind of severance if you can work it out that way. But if you just walk out, you've kind of burned bridges, right? And people mostly do that because they're too proud to go in and ask for a layoff, and they're very, very angry. So what I recommend for people, do not compromise your savings at all. Never do that. Just find something, even if it's going to work at Home Depot, whatever it is. If you have to go waitering, if you have to go to work at the post office or FedEx, if they have seasonal hiring, you need to pay your bills. The other thing, I'm going to go back to the sandwich generation.
All right, then we have 1 minute. Go ahead.
You don't have any obligation to pay for kids' college. Kids can take out their loans. You're 50, they're 20. You need to save for your retirement. So you need to have that steady income to get back on your feet and then start your networking process, start your job search process for the job that's right for you at the income level that you want. You may have to take some less money. Sometimes it's 20% less. But you should not be acting out of anger, and in a lot of cases, you're better off swallowing your pride and moving on. People don't want to hear that, but that's the best path to moving ahead.
All right, Mary, it's been great to have you on. Just tell us quickly again how people can find you.
I'm on the web at www.graceful, info@encoreexecutivecoaching.com. My phone number directly to me, you can call me anytime, is 401-742-1965. I'll be more than happy to take your call, and all of Patricia's listeners are entitled to a complimentary 20-minute exploratory conversation with me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, Mary O'Sullivan, and President of Encore Executive Coaching. All right, Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. All right, talk to you soon.
You're welcome.
All right, stay on the line for a minute.